Hello, New York Giants fans. Welcome to Giants Latest. We've got a lot to discuss because OTAs are officially happening. So let's get right into it. Today and tomorrow, we are recapping about the first couple days about OTAs because there's actually some things to talk about. So let's start with this that the Giants had 100% participation. And the reason that that's a big deal is because these are all voluntary practices. And in the past, there hasn't always been every player there. And we've seen this with other teams that's happening right now, where you have players who are working out contract issues and that's why they're not showing up. Or you've got someone like Stephon Diggs who decided that he would rather be partying on a boat than at OTAs. And I just think that it sends a really good message for the Giants as an organization, as a franchise, as a team, from the coaching perspective, everything, that 100% of the players are at a voluntary practice. And I love that. To me, it just says a lot. And it also, I think, is starting the season off on the right foot, which is what we want. Now, obviously, let's see things on the field and let's see how they play first before, we make any declarations that this is going to be a really good football team, but I think it's starting off in a good light. And the biggest thing for me is that I just don't want the Giants to be the laughing stock, and I don't want them to be the focal point of off the field issues of what Stephon Diggs did, or the fact that, they have players sitting out because they're working out contract deals. So for once, the Giants are not being looked at in a negative light, whether it's fans or media perspective, because they have 100% participation. So like I said, I just wanted to call that out because I think it is a good thing and something that should be discussed. Next, let's talk about Jackson Dart, because I don't know if you guys have seen this by now, but he threw a touchdown pass to Jalen Hyatt. Yes, that Jalen Hyatt, which we're going to talk about Hyatt in a second because there was a report that came out about some drama that happened with him last year. But I want to focus on the good with Hyatt with right now is the fact that he caught a nice touchdown pass from Jackson Dart, who threw a beautiful ball, and Bobby Okereke almost got a hand on it, but it went right into Jalen Hyatt's hands. And, Dart was thrown in with the ones during this, and that's something that we've seen Dable do with different quarterbacks throughout the years, especially in OTAs. It's early on, they're still working things out. So Jackson Dart got reps with the ones and threw a touchdown pass to Jalen Hyatt. So I'm not going to be out here screaming that because, Jackson Dart looks good in camp or whatever, or preseason, if he plays, that we need to see him. Like, I really want to see Russell Wilson. We're going to talk about Russell Wilson tomorrow because there's been a lot of positivity from players in the building and, of course, the coaching staff. But I think, and when we talk about the 100% participation, I think there's a new feeling in the building. And I think part of that is just the excitement that they have a really good quarterback who knows the league, knows how to learn. We're going to get into that tomorrow because there's more to discuss. But anyway, I'm glad that Jackson Dart looks good. That is always a good thing. We want to see him look good. Let's see how that continues throughout the summer. But I really think that the best case for Jackson Dart is that we don't see him at all this year and that Russ is hopefully winning the Giants some football games. But one thing that I did hear too is that DeVito and Dart have been working with the 3s and 4s, of course, while Russell and Jameis are working with the 1s and 2s. And they seem to, after every play or after every drill or whatever, they're kind of talking a bit in the corner to each other. And I think that's really valuable for someone like Jackson Dart because whether or not you love or hate Tommy DeVito, he's been on this team for a few years now. He knows the offense. He knows the coaching staff. He knows how things work. He, knows how to rehab his body. And he's obviously had starting experience in the NFL, some of which has been pretty good. So I think he's going to be a really valuable resource for someone like Jackson Dart. So I'm glad that they are, communicating and working together and whatnot. Let's talk about Jalen Hyatt because, like I said, there was this report that came out that said that Jalen Hyatt was unhappy during the season and seemed to have some issues with ownership and the coaching staff. And, I think we kind of saw that on the field, right? Like you could see that he wasn't succeeding when he did get those couple plays. He didn't come down with a lot of catches. It seemed like he wasn't really making an effort. And I think you could just tell from his body language. Like I remember there being reports that he was running out of the locker room as soon as games were over. He didn't shower. He grabbed his bag and ran out. He didn't want to talk to the media, nothing. So I'm not surprised that this report is coming out and that these are the things that it's saying, but I feel like from Jalen Hyatt's perspective is you need to take a note out of Cameron Scadaboo's book. It's your second year in the league. You have not earned shit. You have done nothing. You don't have a single touchdown pass. You didn't even have 100 receiving yards. And look, I know part of that is because he didn't get the playing time. Maybe he wasn't getting the playing time because he doesn't know the playbook and he doesn't know how to run routes and he can't come down with contested catches. So I think he needs to look in the mirror and he needs to understand that just because the Giants traded up to draft him and they really liked him, et cetera, whatever, that it doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything. Every single week and every single practice, you have to prove that you deserve to be the starter on this football team. And what we're also going to talk about tomorrow is the wide receiver competition. Jalen Hyatt is not guaranteed a spot on this roster, and he needs to work for it, and he needs to prove that he deserves it. And when there are reports that there are other wide receivers, like undrafted free agents, who are looking pretty good at practice, that should be the only motivation that Jalen Hyatt needs to get his shit together and say, I'm going to figure it out. I've been humbled. I had less than 100 yards last year and I barely got on the field, and it's my turn to dig deep and figure it out and prove to the coaching staff, prove to ownership, prove to Russell Wilson that I want to be on this team. I want to be a starter. I want to make plays, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do it. That is what I want to see from Jalen Hyatt this year. I want to see him zip his mouth, stop whining. You're not helping anyone, especially not yourself. Learn the playbook, learn how to run routes, and make some damn plays. I know there are a lot of Giants fans, myself included, that would love to see Jalen Hyatt have a really good year this year. I want it to work out with him. I cannot tell you guys how much I loved the pick at the time. I was so happy the Giants got him. And last year, I was begging to see him play, begging to see more of him. And I still feel like I want to see more of him this year. He just has to prove that he deserves it. And it's all within his capabilities. He is able to do it. He just has to put it all together. So I hope for everyone's sake that he does. So let's move along and talk about the offensive line, because this has been a hot topic like it always is. Oh, God. Okay, this is what I want to talk about. Let's start with Andrew Thomas, who is back from his injury. He's healthy and ready to go. But what Brian Daboll said is that he's going to be really careful with the guys coming back from injuries. And when you've got someone like Malik Neighbors and Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence and Bobby Okereke, like these veterans, outside of Malik, who have a lot of experience in the league and know how to treat their bodies and already know the system and this and that. I think it's a smart move to say, like, we don't have to run these guys ragged. They don't have to do a lot, especially now during OTAs. There is still plenty of the summer left for these guys to get involved. So I love that they're really managing their course load. So Andrew Thomas is not really getting any reps with the ones during OTAs right now, which I don't have a problem with. I think that's fine. Andrew Thomas, the only thing I'm worried about when it comes to him is getting injured again. So wrap him in bubble wrap until week 1. Here is what the offensive line looked like. This is the ones and the twos. The ones from left tackle to right tackle. James Hudson, John Runyon Jr., John Michael Schmitz, Greg Van Roten, Jermaine Illuminor. Now, the only thing that's different about this lineup is, of course, that James Hudson is playing for Andrew Thomas. Now, what I have to say about this is that I like it. I'm fine with it. The reason that they brought in James Hudson is to be a swing tackle. The reason that they brought in someone who actually has tackle experience is so if Andrew Thomas or Jermaine Illuminor goes down, they can put someone in who actually knows how to play tackle in the NFL. And as of right now, James Hudson is that guy at left tackle, which, like I said, I have no problem with. Obviously, I don't want to see him be a starter, but if Andrew Thomas goes down, I would rather see him than Evan Neal, that left tackle. So I'm fine with that. Is it the most amazing option? No. Is it the best one on this current roster right now? Probably. Now, let's talk about the twos, because this is where I have severe beef with this Giants team. And Art Stapleton, who I love, him and I were just going back and forth on Twitter a little bit about it, because he posted this tweet, which is what I'm reading to you guys about the starting lineups for the offensive lines, saying, and I wrote back that, like, I cannot explain how enraged I am seeing that Ezeudu is back at left tackle, spoiler alert, in with the twos. And, Art was like, don't worry about it. Wait until August before you get enraged. And I was like, Art, I will not, because we have already seen what Joshua Ezeudu can and can't do at left tackle, and what he can do is literally nothing. He is not a good left tackle. They finally moved him to guard in week 18 last year. What the hell are you doing moving him back to left tackle? Now, what I will say is Art also said that Ezeudu was getting most of the practice he was in at guard. at left guard. Fine, that's where he should be. And then they moved him over to left tackle. Where is Stone Forsythe? He's another guy that you brought in this spring summer who is left and right tackle, a swing tackle. Why are you like I just don't understand the rationale behind it. You have someone that is capable of playing left tackle. And I know that Stone Forsythe is probably not, a top whatever, 50 tackle in the NFL. I don't care. You are not going to tell me that he is worse than Joshua Zudu at left tackle. It's not possible. It is literally not possible. I'm not believing that. It's not happening. So the fact that they're doing it again, and look, like Art said, I get it. It's only May. But my problem is that they finally moved him to guard. What the hell are you doing moving him back to tackle? We know he's not good at left tackle. So why bother? Why not just continually give him the reps at left guard, let him get comfortable in that position, because he played 1 week last year at guard. So I understand their focus is on versatility with the offensive line, but like not with Joshua Zudu. I don't care. You can rotate literally anyone else. I do not care. Zudu, I have a huge problem with putting him in at left tackle. So anyway, this was the rest of the line from left to right. Zudu, Evan Neal at left guard, Austin Schlottman at center, Jake Kubas at right guard, and Marcus Bowe at right tackle. Now, Marcus Bowe was also getting some guard snaps, but Dable, now he played guard, center, and I believe a little bit of tackle in college, but Dable said after they drafted him that they were going to start him off at tackle. So he is a guy that is versatile and is actually good at playing multiple positions. So I have no problem with them moving him from guard to tackle. Zudu, on the other hand, I have a big problem with that. So I don't know, guys. This is what they have for right now. Like Art said, it's only May, so I'm not really going to freak out about it. But I'm telling you right now, if during preseason I see him at left tackle, it's going to be very ugly around here. I just hope that the Giants know better than that. And my problem is that there are so many instances where I feel like the coaching staff is not learning from their mistakes. And that's where I have a problem, because you cannot do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. It's the definition of an insanity. I understand they did it with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is gone, okay? Like, can we learn from the mistakes here? So anyway, I just don't ever want to see Joshua Zudu at left tackle again, and I hope that this is the last time we are talking about it. So hit that subscribe button, because tomorrow we are covering off on more OTA conversations.